Okay, we are back for day 3 in our story, A Walk in the Desert. So let's look at our learning goal before we get started. Our learning goal is I'm learning to find the main idea. Now, we've been talking about main idea this week, and remember, the main idea is just one little sentence that tells me what the whole thing is about. So we're going to focus on that today on some of our pages. We have some new words to learn today. This first word here is early. Everybody say early. All right, early means in the morning or happening before. All right, this next word here is track. Everybody say track. Now, track is a multiple meaning word. It means it has more than one meaning. It can mean like footsteps, make a track. It can also mean following somebody, tracking them, like an animal tracks a scent. All right. Next, this word here is canyon. Everybody say canyon. Now, here's a picture of the Great Canyon, which is here in the United States. Have any of you ever been there? I've been to the Great Canyon a couple of times. Actually, one of my favorite things happened at the Grand Canyon. Not the Great Canyon, the Grand Canyon. My husband proposed to me at the Grand Canyon. So that's where we got engaged, and he asked me to marry him right at the Grand Canyon. So that's one of my favorite places. All right, our next word here is Gila monster. Whoa, everybody say Gila monster. Okay, I don't want to tell you what that is yet because we're going to read to find out. So let's practice some new phrases. Our first phrase is the early evening air. Now you read it. The early evening air. All right, I'll do our next one. Do you see the small kit fox? Your turn. Do you see the small kit fox? All right, I'll go next. Ride a mule along a deep canyon. Your turn. Ride a mule along a deep canyon. Okay, while we're reading today, one thing I want us to think about on these next 2 pages is what is it like at night in the desert? So we're going to find out. Go ahead and open your books to page 132. All right, you can pause the video if you need more time. Once you're there, I want you to get your reading finger ready, and then we're going to go ahead and start. So finger in the air, finger on our words, look and read. The jackrabbit is also a plant eater. Also, let's stop right there. What did we talk about yesterday? We talked about the desert tortoise, right? Who eats plants. So let's go back and reread this again. The jackrabbit is also a plant eater. Watch it sniff the early evening air. It is alert to the sounds and smells of the desert. When danger is near, the jackrabbit's long legs help it to escape quickly. So here we have another picture, and you can't see because of my face, but on your book you can see that it says jackrabbit. Now notice how the jackrabbit has really long ears. It says he's alert to the sounds and smells. I bet those long ears help him hear lots of different sounds. We can also see his strong, long legs here. All right, let's go to our next page. Ooh, it looks like it's nighttime here in this picture. I see the moon is in the sky. Everything's starting to look kind of dark. I want you to read with me. Everyone look and read. As night begins to fall, the desert air cools. Animals who were hidden or sleeping come out to hunt and feed. A hungry coyote howls to the moon. Do you see the small kit fox? Big ears help the fox to hear well so it can track animals to eat. The cool night is full of activity. So remember, we're reading to find out what life is like at night in the desert. Well, what did we find out here? Take a minute, see if you can find some text evidence that tells me what life is like in the desert at nighttime. Well, I see here that it says it's full of activity, but let's find some more details. What does that mean, full of activity? Well, looks like the air cools down, so some animals come out at night because it's not so hot, so they hunt and feed at night. Coyotes howl in the middle of the night. The kit fox also tracks animals to eat in the middle of the night. So we see here with our captions, we see an owl comes out at night, this coyote comes out at night, the kangaroo rat, and the small kit fox. So the desert at night is very busy. It's very active, right? So because it's cooler, the animals are able to be out longer in the desert instead of getting too hot in the sunshine. So now we're going to talk about how is it different than the day? How is it different than the day? So let's look back. So we talk about in this picture, look, it looks like it's the morning. There's a sunrise coming up. It's daytime here. So really here, the jackrabbit, he's got to listen for sounds of danger. But look at this picture. Are there many animals out in the daytime? No, it doesn't look like it. The desert is very, very hot in the daytime. So it's harder for the animals to stay out longer because they get hot too quickly. Okay, go ahead and turn your page. Let's look at page 136. Now, I want you to think about what the main idea of this page is. So everybody, let's look and read. The desert is an exciting place to visit. You can ride a mule along a deep canyon, slide down a sand dune, learn about wildlife at a nature center, or taste sweet jelly made from prickly pear fruit. All right, so we see here, this woman is sliding down a sand dune. Here is someone riding a mule, which I know you can do at the Grand Canyon. Here's somebody who has found some prickly pear fruit. They make gummies out of this and jelly, and it's actually very tasty. So let's think for a minute. What's the main idea of this page? Well, I see that it's talking about riding mules in a canyon, sliding down sand dunes, learning about wildlife, and tasting things. So it sounds like it's talking about all of the things that we can do in the desert. I think the main idea of this page would be this sentence. The desert is an exciting place to visit. I think the main idea of this page is telling me why the desert is so fun to visit. We've got one more page to read before we do our reader response, so go ahead and turn the page. All right, we're up here at the very tip top of page 138. Everybody look and read. You can find deserts all over the world. Not all deserts are alike. Some are hot, others are cold. But in all deserts, there is little rain. Did you know there were cold deserts? Well, it says here all deserts don't have very much rain. So I think that even cold deserts can still be a desert even though they're hot, because in cold parts of the world, it also doesn't get a lot of rain, like at the North and South Pole. So we have lots of captions here, so let's go ahead and look at these and read. So here's a map of the world. Which one do we live in? North America. Yes, we live close to here in North America, here in Tennessee. So let's see what kind of animals live in the desert in North America. So the Gila monster is the only poisonous lizard in the American desert. One thing we learned about adaptations was bright colors often mean they're poisonous. So that definitely tells me that that lizard is poisonous. Let's look here at the desert in South America. The deserts in South America have very little animal or plant life. Oh, I can see in this picture, I just see dried up shrubs and lots of rocks. It is very hard for animals and plants to live in the desert. Let's look up here. This is the desert in Africa. This is one of the largest deserts called the Sahara. So, the tiny finnick fox, how cute, lives in the world's largest desert, the Sahara. All right, up here, it's pointing here in Asia, and this is called the Gobi Desert. Let's read about that. The Gobi Desert is cold and snowy in the winter. Temperatures are often below freezing. That means everything can turn to ice there. It's very cold. Here we see a desert in Australia. Let's read about that one. The Australian desert is home to the bandicoot. Have you ever heard of that animal, the bandicoot? Look how cute they are. All right, and last but not least, you'll have to read this in your book. It's talking about the camel. The dromedary is a one-humped camel found in the sandy Arabian desert. If you've ever watched the movie Aladdin, it was close to this Arabian desert. So let's read this last spot. Can you find the continent where you live? Is there a desert on it? So I already pointed out we live in North America. Do we have a desert? Yes, we do. We have the American desert, and that's where that Gila monster lives. All right, it's time for your reader response today. Today, I want you to tell me what the main idea of page 36 is. So you're going to look back on page 36. And we've already talked about this. I want you to tell me what the main idea of that page is. So go ahead and get to work. Make sure you turn it in on Class Dojo. Bye.